like to invite Maciej Sadowski. Well, he's the president of the board of Startup Hub Poland. Welcome. Yeah.
Thanks. Cheers. Здравствуйте. Я извиняюсь вас, я буду говорить по-английски, потому что я думаю, что я понимаю много по-белорусски, по-русски, но разговором у меня очень плохо. And English is the language of Polish startups actually from some time. Eliza already said it. By the way, talking to Eliza after this speech that I know very well, I have this impression that Eliza is too humble to say that she is actually one of the hottest names in Polish startup ecosystem, in Central Eastern European ecosystem. As a head of Startup Poland, she was providing our ecosystem with lots of contacts with international funds and international partners, which I think should be the main message of our arrival here, that internationalization of your local Minsk, Belarusian ecosystem is a sine qua non condition for you to be very successful in your business. So if I may ask you for another round of applause for my colleague Eliza, that would be super great. I will also benefit from it. I will of course demand some applause for myself as well after the end of my speech. I'm happy that some of you are laughing. That means that at least some of you are listening. Guys, I brought you some message from the beautiful city of Warsaw, where I live, where I was born. And this message is something that you can, of course, discuss with me during the beer. By the way, I accept invitations today evening and afternoon. I'm staying in Minsk and in Warsaw, of course. I'm all the time, me and my colleagues, partners from our ecosystem. We are some of the guys who is willing, who have the courage to introduce you how interesting might be to work with Polish colleagues are there in Warsaw, and you are always welcome. Just come and start a dialogue. Ask us lots of questions. Even now, invest your time in listening to this detailed information, because I have this legitimate belief that some of you will earn money because of listening to what we have learned, what kind of failures have we had in our mission, what kind of successes we were able to produce. So first thing is that hubs matter. Lots of my partners, I would like to say colleagues from US, from Silicon Valley or from Boston or from Canada, from Toronto, for example, they say, Maciek, thank you that you are inviting us to Warsaw. You are a very kind young gentleman, but we want to spend 3 days of our very, very precious time in these two cities, in London or in Berlin. Why? Because they have hell a lot of startups, lots of venture capital and seed accelerators and funds that we can work with. And if I'm going to Berlin or to London, I immediately have a pipeline of 20 great startups that I can possibly invest. And this is time I want to invest, I want to allocate into Europe. I have maybe Tel Aviv, maybe Stockholm, but believe me and understand me, Warsaw is not the place I want to go. And actually, when I listened 3 times this kind of claim, I understood that there is one thing that is missing, that we guys from Belarus, guys from Poland, from Czech Republic, from Ukraine, we are advertising our ventures, our projects as local, as Belarusian projects, as Polish projects, as Slovak or Lithuanian projects, and you don't know, you have no idea, or maybe you will have idea if you agree with me, and during this presentation this idea will emerge. We are making a huge mistake, because Poland alone is just a medium country in Central Eastern Europe. Okay, we have super good instruments, and okay, I'm proud to say that we are developing nicely and fast, and lots of magazines and respectful, actors of startup global scene acknowledge the success of Poland. But alone, none of the countries in the region, maybe apart from Russia, maybe apart from Germany, but other countries should create a bloc of good guys working together, and from now on we should start saying that I am from Central Eastern Europe. Come to Minsk or to Warsaw, you will not see 3 Belarusian startups or 4 Polish startups. You will see 20 startups from Central Eastern Europe. And this is the message, I think, if we speak up loud, will be heard very well in Sequoia Venture Capital Fund, in Benchmark Venture Capital Fund, in the legendary funds that invest in our startups. Okay, too much about Berlin and and London. I want to show you my city, so that's how it looks like. Elisa even said we are of the same age, so we started exactly in the same time our studies. So that was the beautiful view of a city of Warsaw, who only you, because we are neighbors, heard that there is a city of Warsaw, but many guys from US or from Great Britain just heard rumors, or if they like rock bands, maybe they remember that Joy Division was called Warsaw before the brand transformation. But that's how the city looked like. I actually like it. It's very, how to say, romantic vision of 90s in Poland. Not many things happened. Lots of people from Eastern countries were coming here to sell shoes or trousers or backpacks or football hats. Nice, but no startups, no financial ecosystem at all. And then after some time, I will try to show you, if only that works. We really changed into a beautiful little baby that is growing up on your eyes and is having so many investments, so many people from abroad who are coming, who are discovering that we can be partners, that we speak English, that we are sympathetic, that we can talk about real business, not only asking for help of the more developed countries. And this city right now is a headquarter location of, I believe, 16 venture capital firms, so guys who are professionally investing money into your startups. They just want to meet you, want to talk in English, in Russian, in Belarusian, in Polish, whatever language is suitable, and talk about how to make your prospective and full of potential project being really successful and really big. And I missed one slide that I wanted to show you, not this one, but this. I was surprised when I read one of the most important reports in Polish startup stage made by the Startup Poland Foundation, that 1/4, so 25% of all startups are located in Warsaw. This is a huge information. Why? Because those guys from Sequoia and Benchmark, those who I referred to in the beginning, who said, Maciek, I will not come to your country because it's too little startups for me, good startups to discover, I understood that these are cities that count. Cities create the hubs. We are talking about Israel, but when you talk about Israel, you usually think about Tel Aviv, which is the hub. When you talk about Sweden, which is a very decent high-tech market, you think about Stockholm actually. Not Malmö, but Stockholm. So right now in Warsaw, I would say it's super entrepreneurial city. This is a city where it's actually hard to meet a person who does not run his or her own startup. So when you go for a beer downtown in Warsaw, you can hear the rumors that, hey, you know, I met on my university a guy, you know, he doesn't have his own startup. Whoa, unbelievable, doesn't have a startup, crazy, how it's possible. 10 or 15 years ago, people were working in corporates. We were talking about it yesterday with our new colleagues from Belarus, from Zuber Capital, for example. People were working in corporates. They didn't want to risk a lot, not earn money for some, first 2-3 months, my mistake, years of the career. They wanted to start earning money immediately. And now the atmosphere really, really changed. Being a startupper is a privilege. It's an honor. People want to do it. They are not afraid to talk to big bosses of Orange, Microsoft, Google. They are going to meetings like, with full of courage, with full of self-confidence. I really admire this change in my own country and city. So this job that has been made, of course, need journalists and let's say leaders of social media to discover it and to acknowledge it. I think that because we are really playing, so there are lots of struggles in Poland, sometimes we don't like each other, but we are really playing like one team, and we are really investing a lot of our time and contacts to make this information about medium country of Poland a successful country. And some journalists, some very powerful magazines have already discovered it. I think that this is also a path that you should think to follow, because journalists are those guys who are always hungry of topics. They don't know what to write about. And if you come up with an idea, hey, Minsk has the biggest technological park in Eastern Europe, or we have the biggest number of patents, or our ICT guys in 17 months created startup from the scratch up to $10 million. So these are the highlights that those journalists really like. And you know, countries like Belarus or Poland are not very often in the titles of these magazines. So it's even better for us, because there is a vacuum, there is a place to show up. And one of the reasons that makes startuppers very comfortable in Poland is the growing VC market. 10 years ago, I barely heard about venture capital firms. I had some rumors, but they were very hardly accessible. They were guys in a very good suits, with a very good, elegant outfit. And right now, they are guys in t-shirts, talking with startups every day. In every event like this one, here in Minsk, you can meet venture capital firms who are willing to explore what you have in your computer, what kind of ICT startup have you produced. And I talked yesterday with a guy from Ukraine. His name is Igor Savchuk. He is right now an entrepreneur who works and lives in Poland, in Warsaw. His startup is called Wandly. This is a chatbot solution. And Igor told me, you know, Maciek, I've been to Prague, in Czech Republic. I've been to Prague, I was looking for some financing. And those guys from Prague refuse to talk to me, because they say, oh my God, this guy is coming from, he's Ukrainian, he's from Lviv, but he's coming from Poland. In their eyes, he was a Polish entrepreneur, let's say, from Warsaw. He's coming from Poland, and he's looking for money in Czech Republic. How comes? Everybody knows that Poland is a seed planet, is a seed paradise for early stage companies. So if somebody comes to Prague and he is a Polish-based company looking for financing, it means this is something wrong with the technology. Those 100 venture capital firms in Poland would definitely invest if this project was cool. And I said, so you made a mistake. You should start looking for capital in the country where you are. And I think the same applies to Belarus. The first capital you are looking, the first financing for your projects should be from here. For the best, from experienced entrepreneur, he or she, who lives in Minsk and who has some successes on his or her account. Beautiful story. Why? Because the money will flow together with experience, with know-how, with contacts. I'm not talking about very big money. Sometimes $10,000, $50,000 is super enough, you know, to make the demonstrator of our software, to make a prototype of our solution. And then, of course, it's better to look for international partners who can also help you to make this step outside of your border. These borders, for me, I'm sorry if I'm too idealistic for me, but it's the stupidest concept ever, especially for high-tech entrepreneurs. So maybe this is our generation that should change it, and to make at least the flow of technology, of ideas, of great ventures a little bit more international. And we are going all the time to Sweden to learn from our colleague, to Israel, to Ukraine, today to Belarus. And without these connections, we are really doomed. I'm sorry for being pessimistic right now, but we are doomed if we do not collaborate as a region, as a group of people, group of nations, group of entrepreneurial circles who like each other, who want to work each other, and who have real contacts. Not that I will drop you an email, you nice lady, or you sympathetic gentleman, I will drop you. This is not it. We need to work together, like, you know, panels, workshops, meeting all the time. Because maybe I'm not a suitable partner for you, but Eliza is, or another colleague of ours, somewhere in Kraków or in Gdańsk. Okay, and the elements that make Poland right now a nice place to start your own business, or to increase the scope of your business, is something that we didn't have really 8 years ago. Every number or every fact that is written on the blackboard behind me is something that we very hardly working on, and then with a huge amount of energy we try to popularize. Also for the fact that Germans, our neighbors from the West, will apparently understand that we are not a country that produces cheese and milk, but also the country that produces very good software, very good new materials, biotech, oncological tech, lasers and artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, cybersecurity solutions. It really cost lots of time, but we started doing it. We were going and shouting, sometimes on the edge of, propaganda. I was going to Berlin, I was saying, yes, Poland, super good country. And yes, this is a place where you should have at least one business trip in every quarter of year. And it was too much. I didn't even believe that we are so good, but you need this element of good propaganda to advise your colleagues from other countries to visit you more and more often. Eliza told you about the instruments that support startups. She, as a person who is an architect of this, let's say, startup stage in Poland, she thinks in big numbers. And I want to translate these big numbers into the language of a normal startup. Does anybody here on this orangish stage, have his or her own startup? Raise your hands, please. Guys, the question is if you have a startup. Okay, a startupper here, a startupper there. Here is a lady who has a startup. And now, more important question, and this question goes even to the colleague in blue jumper who is Facebooking right now, but I really need you to answer this question. Does anybody on this stage want to have his or her own startup, business project? Please raise your hand. It's like, I will not blame you. Really, you want it? You want to start your own business? In which field? Okay. And you? You raise your hand? Yes? Software development. Okay. These are the topics that are super hot in Poland right now. They are going to Warsaw Stock Exchange. They are going to NASDAQ sometimes, not every month, but let's say every year, and this is super possible. So at least for those of you, I would say like 10 or 12 people who raise your hands when I ask, do you want to have your own startup in the close future? I want to translate this slide into money that you can get. And think also about this not only as an offer, but also as an example. How the stages of investment could be organized. I'm not saying that we are, world champions. We are far from there, really. We make so many mistakes that I don't even have time to speak about it. But if I'm a startupper in software development, do you have my new colleague? What's your name, by the way? Alexei. Do you have, Alexei, some R&D topics that you want to achieve? Do you have some technology that you want to develop? Not yet, but it's going to be in your startup. Do you have this idea that in your startup there will be a high-tech department? Okay, some idea. Fair enough for me right now. If you have some ideas, you go, for example, to National Center for Research and Development and you say, guys, I want to build a software company and I'm looking for some money. And you know what is going to be the answer? They will say, Alexei, bring me a letter of intent, not an agreement, a letter of intent. You know what is it? Like somebody shows that he or she wants to invest in you, that you will bring 1 million zloty and the National Center for Research and Development will give you 5. It never happens. I think it's really unbelievable that if you organize 1 million private money, the government give you 5 another millions. So this is something that usually when I speak on Polish universities, people actually stop, doing something on their smartphones and they think, what? And how much maximum can I get in this proportion? And I said 20 million zloty. For those of you who don't travel that often to Poland, I will tell you that $1 is 3.5 zloty. So let's say you can have $5 million just for attracting $500,000 and going for this grant. These grants are non-equity. It means that it does not dilute your company. You are still the owner of the company. The country does not ask you, give us 10% of the company. There are accelerators that, of course, demand some equivalent of money in your equity, and they are incubators or accelerators that Eliza already told you about. The other thing is that we are very often too humble to admit that we are a superpower, that Belarus, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Baltic countries, we are a superpower. Did you know that we together, these countries that I have indicated, like 8 countries, counting with Ukraine and Moldova, it will be 10 countries, we produce more patents than our friends from Nordic states. So look, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland and Estonia together, these 5 countries, and Iceland, Reykjavik, yes, we have more patents than them. We have more universities, high-tech universities, that countries in European Union all around the Mediterranean area. So Greece, South Italy, South France, Eastern Spain, we have more high-tech institutes and universities. And we never admit that we are a superpower in high-tech. But the successes of our, let's say, projects are not being materialized here. Lots of our colleagues are going to US, for example, to Canada, because they are a very good ecosystem for this kind of activities. Steve Wozniak, does it sound to you? Not only Steve Jobs was the founder of Apple, but Steve Wozniak. Wozniak is a Central Eastern European last name. I don't know whether it's Polish, Russian, Belarusian, I don't really care. The fact is, he has roots in Central Eastern Europe, but he became a billionaire in US. The task we should all try to discuss, at least discuss today, and maybe start working on it in 2018, 19, 20, is how to keep our talents here in Central Eastern Europe. After Poland joins European Union in 2004, do you have any idea how many Poles have migrated into Western countries? Just give me a try. Tell me. 5 million. Too much. 2.5 million. But still, 2.5 million people in my age, usually my age, not grandparents or parents are going, but usually young people, left country. And some of them are right now successful entrepreneurs somewhere because the ecosystem got them. So the task for us really is to build this ecosystem here in Central Eastern Europe. And I wanted just to show you some predominant actors of this country that I'm representing today in front of you. It is very good that we have these international corporates. You know why? One reason. You can have lunch with a manager, product manager or an engineer of Facebook or a Google. I can call and, hey, Joanna, can I invite you for a lunch? Sure. Tuesday is good? Yes, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock or something. And I'm asking them, what your company needs? What kind of solutions can I provide to you? Because I run acceleration and incubation programs in Poland. I did 4 of them. I will show you some numbers, how unsuccessful or successful, you will decide they were. But it's super important that we have some guys from outside, from Western countries, and we can go for a lunch. As simple as that. We can eat a burger together, drink a Coke, glass of Coke, or a lemonade or whatever, a beer afternoon, and I can ask, what do you need in your companies? What does Facebook need? What kind of solution can Google pay me for? And this, circle of knowledge makes us a real ecosystem. And the last thing I want to show you is what I'm doing actually and why I came here, why Anya and our colleagues from the park invited me here. I have, from the education, I'm a philosopher, sorry, I'm not a tech guy, I've never coded anything, maybe in primary school I have some classes, but I don't even remember. It was Logocomenius, the language, you don't even remember such language existed. And maybe you remember, no, Logocomenius, Pascal? This kind of language. Okay, but really long time ago. So I'm a philosopher from my education, I work at university, and then I built a 6-year experience in venture capital ecosystem as a leader of acceleration programs and incubations. And how we are working, actually, I'm sorry for saying that as a proud Pole, but I neglect Poland. I never speak about Poland, unless I'm in a close neighborhood like Belarus or Czech Republic. I'm usually saying about this region. I'm saying about research institutes and incubators that are working with us. Some of them are from Sofia, some of them are from Thessaloniki, some of them from Riga. I try never to use the names of the countries. I usually use the name of the cities. Why? Because I want to advertise us as a working, community, as a population of people who actually know each other, work each other, and the flow of deal is constant. And the last thing is that if you come for a visit, like to visit me, I am your new colleague, I believe you will not refuse a friendship or professional friendship with me. I will introduce you some of the guys that are working in Poland, that are doing very great job. Like for example, Reactor is one of the coolest acceleration program in Poland. They give you money for some little equity, super private. Google Campus is a place where you can for free go and run a conference, like your technological park, but it's run by Google. It's private held, not state held. We are Startup Hub Poland. We try to make Poland a little bit more international. We ignore startups that are from Poland, but we invest and we help startups that are international. So CTO is from Romania, CFO is from Germany, and COO is from Belarus or from Russia. So these are the topics I like. Why? Because they speak English usually, they are international, they are tolerant one to another, they accept the fact that you are from Nigeria and you are from Sri Lanka. It's good. So this is my goal, to make this movement a little bit more international in Poland. And for example, the guys from, these guys, they supported 16,000 young firms, young companies in Poland by giving them space to work, exactly like your park. You have spaces to work. Right now everybody is on the stage, nobody is working, but I understand the purpose of the park. You want to have a community and to work here close to another, eat lunch sometimes together or go for a walk and talk about business. And the last thing I want to tell you are the numbers. So how we do it? Do I have 1 minute? 1 minute? Okay, so we make a call on a website. We say, guys, all the startups from Central Eastern Europe are welcome to come here to Warsaw and to try their strengths in our acceleration program. Look, we have in 2016, we are not looking for startups, we are looking for concepts, for ideas. We have 516 applications. And I, poor Maciek, I needed to read all of them with my colleagues. I have 8 people in my team, and we were reviewing them, of course, with the support of venture capital firms. And next year we were looking only for startups, not ideas. Startups, you have to have a company. Look, 362 projects. We accelerated some of them, 35 and 60 startups. And look, these are my real goals. We made 12 and 8, already 8, and we finished in December 2017, so 4 months ago. We managed to organize 8 seed rounds. So 8 investors took money and say, this is the money, please take the money and make a profitable company for you and me. I will have 10%, you will have 90%, do it. You make this project very big. And we also make something that I badly want to do with Park, not today, of course, but maybe in upcoming months. So we made Kiev Tech Hub. You know what was Kiev Tech Hub? Of course, it was located in Kiev. It was one-day meeting. We brought from Poland 25 best venture capital firms. Ukrainians brought 10 venture capital firms that are active there, and we have selected together, 2 of us, 2 sides, Ukrainians and Poles, we have selected 35 best startups from Ukraine. And the meeting was all the day long, all the night long, and the next day, and lots of deals are already happening, both in Ukraine and in Poland. Why it's good? Because we need to start somewhere. We need some pilot examples, some examples that we can put to this crazy media to write about country like Belarus or country like Poland. And this is finito della musica from my side. I'm sorry that I was speaking so much. It is because I'm first time in Minsk for a long time, and I really wanted to give you the impression that not only we are hardworking guys, but we just believe that Poland or Belarus or Ukraine, it's not enough. We need to show our strengths as a Central Eastern European talents, young people without fear of being losers. Losing is fine. We can just try to make something together. And please remember, at least once this year, if you are going to some international conference, say that you are from Central Eastern Europe and say that you are from Minsk. Say that you are from Warsaw, but don't say that you are from Poland or from... We should underline the fact that we are a community of great guys. So thank you, great guys, for having me. I hope that we see each other either in Warsaw or in Minsk next time, and I hope that next project of ours will be Minsk Tech Hub, and we will see Belarusian and Polish investors working together with local startups, and at least one success is already a beginning. Thank you very much.